Hi, my name is Brooke Michael, and I'm one of the advisors for the University of Michigan-Flint's RN to BSN program. We're going to start off today with the question I get asked at almost every event is why should I choose the University of Michigan-Flint for my RN to BSN program? So first off, we are CCNE accredited. So that's important when you're wanting to further your education beyond a BSN to a MSN, DNP, CRNA school where it's competitive admission. They want to know that you came from a accredited college that has well educated you. And so that education is reflected through our CCNE accreditation. On top of that, we have been ranked the #1 RN to BSN program in the entire state of Michigan for 2 years in a row. We also have undergraduate certificate opportunities, and I'm going to talk about a lot of these bullet points in more detail on the next few slides. So, we'll talk about these different opportunities that we have at the university in a little bit more detail, but we do offer undergraduate certificate opportunities for our RN to BSN students, along with study abroad opportunities. So there's very few RN to BSN programs out there that have study abroad opportunities, and we have study abroad opportunities almost every spring for our students. We also have early assurance into our MSN and DNP programs, and that's for those students that know they want to further their education into the University of Michigan-Flint's MSN or DNP programs, and they want to know that they have a seat saved basically for them, and we're going to talk about that on the next couple of slides. Along with, we have an RN to MSN, RN to DNP option. So this is for those students that want to skip over the BSN and go straight to the MSN and DNP program, and there's a couple of prerequisite classes you take and you kind of skip over that BSN portion, and we're going to again talk about that in the next couple of slides. We also have no prerequisite courses required. So there's no specific classes that you have to complete before you can start into that BSN curriculum. You can even start in onto our RN to BSN program prior to finishing your ADN or your associate's degree in nursing and prior to passing your NCLEX. So if you're a student that is currently enrolled in your associate's degree program and you want to start into some BSN classes, maybe you have the summer semester off in your associate's degree, you can start into those RN to BSN classes over the summertime, go back to your community college, finish that associate's degree, and then come back to us and finish out your BSN once you're done with your associate's degree. Or maybe you just graduated and you haven't passed your NCLEX yet. You can absolutely start into our program prior to finishing that NCLEX or associate's degree. We also have advisors that work with you from table events until graduation. So you don't have to worry about going to a table event or one of these webinars and speaking to somebody and it being from some marketing company. We are the advisors for the program. So the people that you see at table events or the people you see at these webinars are your actual advisors. You can work with me from today until the day you graduate. And you don't have to worry about me passing you off to somebody else or me giving you some sort of information because I work for a marketing company. And then when you get to the university and you actually talk to an advisor, they tell you something completely different. We also have personalized course plans for every single student. And that's because every student takes different classes and wants to go at a different pace. So maybe you changed your major, or maybe you have a previous bachelor's degree. You're going to have a different course plan than someone else. And on top of that, maybe you want to finish faster or slower. Maybe you need to take time off because of work or life. We can create those personalized course plans for you. And they're not just a generic one that you're automatically put into. We also, and that goes along with this, offer every class online every semester. So that gives you that flexibility to go at your own pace. You don't have to worry about, I'm in this specific cohort, I've got to take this class and then this class, and it's not offered again. These classes are offered every semester. And the other huge thing that we offer now is not only 14-week classes, but 7-week classes. So for students that need to start later in a term, let's say something came up in the January start of a winter semester, and you don't want to start until February or March, we have classes that don't start till mid-semester. Or we have it so that you can take one class at a time, but you're still in 2 classes in a semester for financial aid purposes. And that's that, giving you that flexibility to go at your own pace throughout the program. And finally, we give you 15 credits for passing your nursing license. And we're going to talk about that more right here. So those 15 credits, once you've passed your nursing license, can be applied as University of Michigan-Flint credits. So this isn't transfer credits. A lot of schools give you transfer credits for your nursing license. This is actual University of Michigan-Flint credits. And this can go towards a number of different rules. The first rule it goes towards is that 120 college credits that you need for a bachelor's degree. So it doesn't matter where you're going to school or what degree you're pursuing, you have to have at least 120 college credits in order to have a bachelor's degree. And so these 15 credits can go towards that, along with whatever you transferred in and what you take at the university for your total credits. On top of that, it can go towards your senior rule. So your senior rule states your last 30 credits need to stay at the University of Michigan-Flint, no more transferring in at that point. But for those students that want to do a plan concurrently and kind of speed up their process, and they're taking classes while in their associate's degree program, you can use these 15 credits to go towards that, so that maybe when you're done with your associate's degree, you really only have 15 credits left to take at the university. So let's talk about those certificate opportunities that we have at the university. I'm going to talk about these first three are our undergraduate certificate opportunities. We have a certificate opportunity in leadership and management, case management, and nursing informatics. So these certificate opportunities, when you graduate, not only graduate with a certificate from the University of Michigan-Flint, you also have it on your transcripts, and the content that you learn in these certificates is tailored to the national accrediting exams. So if you decide that you want to set and be nationally certified in one of these areas, you have the content to set for those national certifications. These certificates typically only add an additional 1 to 2 classes above and beyond what is built into the RN to BSN program. And like I said, then you're not only graduating with your BSN, but you're also graduating with a certificate in one of these areas. The other certificate opportunity we offer for students is called the graduate level certificate. And it is in nursing healthcare simulation. I apologize, healthcare simulation. So this is a graduate level certificate for our students. It's a 4-credit or 4-course, I should say, 4-course certificate. 2 of those courses can be completed in your undergrad, and then the other 2 are completed after you graduate with your BSN. Typically, students must already have their bachelor's degree before they can start into the healthcare simulation certificate, because it's a graduate level, but we allow our students to start into it early. So the benefits of that is not only can you start early so that when you graduate, you only have 2 more classes left to take, but on top of that, one of those classes can be used as your nursing elective. We require that you have at least 1 nursing elective, and one of those classes can be used for that. And those 2 classes that you take in your undergrad are at the undergraduate tuition cost. So you're taking graduate level courses at the undergraduate tuition cost for 2 of those classes. So that's a big deal. If you're interested in any of these certificate opportunities, we suggest speaking more to your advisor about adding those opportunities to your curriculum. The other opportunity that the university has is our new SANE examiner certificate. So this is for students that are interested in the sexual assault nursing examiner certification. So this certificate has that flexibility of the majority of the classes are online. And then on top of that, you will do a 2.5-day immersion simulation experience at the University of Michigan-Flint in our state-of-the-art simulation lab. The other thing that's great about this opportunity is not only are we the only university in the state of Michigan that has this SANE grant, we also have the opportunity to help provide funding for students that are in either underserved or rural populations. So this opportunity gives students the ability to pay for tuition, travel expenses, and any certification fees if you live in one of these areas. So the 2 things that you need for this certificate is you do need to be a registered nurse. So like I said, you can do it concurrently with your RN to BSN program, and you need 2 years of experience as a registered nurse. So if you want more information, the advisor for that is for Vicki. The other certificates you can talk to me about or any of our other RN to BSN advisors, but Vicki is the specific advisor for our SANE certification. So let's talk about what is early assurance into our MSN and DNP programs. So we have 4 different tracks in our MSN DMP that you can participate in if you're interested in going into psychiatric, family nurse practitioner. We have acute care and gero nurse practitioner. So if those are programs that you're interested in and you're an RN to BSN student, once you've completed 4 of your RN to BSN classes that are very specific, they're listed below: 180, 300, 307, and 369, with a B+ or better, then you'll fill out this form indicating when you're going to graduate with your BSN and ready to start into your MSN. And then as long as you maintain a 3.5 GPA or higher at the university, doesn't matter what you had previously at other colleges or universities, just what you take here, as long as you can maintain that GPA, then you'll have your seat held for our competitive admissions MSN and DMP programs. So it holds your seat or guarantees your spot after you've graduated to start into our graduate program. If you're interested in doing this, you'll just work with your advisor so that A, you make sure you take those kind of 4 classes in the first semester or 2 so you can fill out the form, and B, know when you'll graduate so that when you fill out the form, you're filling out the correct semester, you would be ready to start into graduate programs. So here's our RN to DMP with MSN certificate, our program. This program allows students, like I said before, to kind of skip over the BSN and go straight into the MSN DMP curriculum. So you do have to complete some prerequisite classes before you can start into that graduate level curriculum. And those classes are listed down below in the bullet points on this slide. What you'll want to know is that you can transfer in some of those classes, so keep that in mind. And the other classes you would have to take at the university. All of these classes are also required for the RN to BSN program. So if you did decide that you want your BSN, you would need to finish out the RN to BSN curriculum. You can't just do these prerequisites, then start into the MSN and DMP and be like, I've taken enough classes, surely I have a BSN by now. That's not how that works. So if you're okay with skipping over your BSN and going straight into the MSN or DMP, this is a plan that you can look into, and you'll just again talk to one of us about what that curriculum would look like. So transfer guidelines. So every grade that you took that's a C or better will transfer in. If your class has a C- or a D in it, it would not transfer in. It's not a big deal if it doesn't transfer in, as long as it wasn't a course you needed. For example, like if you needed a general education English class and you got a D in it, and that's a required course for graduation, you may want to think about either retaking it at the community college, or you would need to retake it with us. Otherwise, not a big deal if it's not a class that's needed for general education, whether or not you got a C- or a D in it. You do need an overall GPA of a 2.0 on a 4-point scale, and you need a 2.75 in your nursing curriculum. As I mentioned before, we talked about that senior rule. The last 30 credits need to stay at the university. Again, a little wiggle room with your NCLEX as long as you work closely with your advisor. And as always, transfer credits always subject to change. So before you take anything additional above and beyond what is required for your associate's degree program, make sure you talk to one of us about how it will transfer in. We will definitely work with you and help you maximize your transfer credits, but we just don't want you to think you're taking a class that's going to meet a general education requirement for the university, and then come to find out it doesn't transfer in the way you thought it was. So this is a pre-admit plan of study that we can fill out for you prior to being admitted if you wanted to see how your classes transferred in. It's quite confusing, I know, but we go over it in detail with you in an appointment, and I'll kind of break it down for you so that you can kind of understand it. On the left-hand column, you'll see those are general education requirements. You'll see the different categories of general education that must be met in yellow. So things like English, finance and quantitative literacy, fine arts, etc. All of those different categories need to be met to have a bachelor's degree from the University of Michigan-Flint. Doesn't matter what you're going for, business, nursing, whatever, you have to meet those categories. With that being said, the majority of our nursing students transfer in almost all of those categories. So there's only typically maybe 1 or 2 that they still need to take. And we offer all of those classes also online every semester. And then you have your nursing curriculum, but it's only the right-hand column, the top right-hand half. So that's where you'll see your nursing curriculum. It is between 30 and 35 credits, depending on what you took and transferred in. There's a couple of those different nursing classes that can transfer in from different community colleges across the state. And so then you'll see your undergraduate certificates. And so I'm going to kind of break down one of them so that you understand how those work. Those undergraduate certificates, you'll see that each certificate is about 4 classes. And then you'll notice that some of those classes have a little red asterisk next to that. And that little red asterisk indicates that that class is a required course in your RN to BSN curriculum. So for example, the very first certificate listed is that Leadership and Management certificate. And you'll see the first class listed is 420 and then 370, and there's a little red asterisk. And then you'll notice right above it, 420 is required in your RN to BSN program. So is 370. You've got to take those classes no matter what. And then you'll see nursing 380. That can be used as your nursing elective. And then you have to choose from one of the other classes at the university that's either in leadership or management. You could transfer those classes in potentially. You could double count them with a general education requirement. So like I said, it's only adding an additional 1 to 2 classes above and beyond what is built into your RN to BSN program to add that certificate onto your graduation plan. So again, if you're interested in those, just talk with your advisor. So let's talk about some common questions that a lot of students have, and students want to know, how many credits can I transfer in? You can transfer in as many credits as you want. You can transfer in 200 credits if you want, but you do need to complete at least 30 credits at the University of Michigan-Flint in order to have a degree from us. So that's what you want to keep in mind, that you can transfer in 200 credits, but you still need to complete at least 30. So every class that you've taken, you absolutely can transfer it in. When can I start? So students can start any semester. We have 4 times a year admit: fall, winter, spring, and summer. And in the fall and winter, we even have 2 different times a year you can start. Again, the beginning of the term, which is typically at the end of August, beginning of September, the middle of the fall term, which is typically around the end of October, the beginning of the winter term, which is typically around the beginning of January, and the middle of the winter term, which is typically the end of February, beginning of March. So you can admit any of those times along with spring and summer. Spring is typically a May start, and summer is typically a end of June, beginning of July start. You can always take time off if life happens. As long as you don't take more than a year off, you're never subject to any catalog changes. And as long as you, like I said before, have finished your ADN, you can, or your NCLEX, you can start in on our program. So you don't have to have your NCLEX completed or your associate's degree in nursing completed to go ahead and start into those RN to BSN classes. Are the instructors from the University of Michigan-Flint? Absolutely, they are. They are the same instructors if you come to the main campus. You're not getting some correspondence course that's taught by some random professor out in the middle of nowhere. These are University of Michigan-Flint instructors. And then finally, is this a University of Michigan-Flint degree? Absolutely, it is. It is the same diploma signed by the same people. No matter if you went to Ann Arbor, Dearborn, or Flint, you also have the same alumni benefits. So what are your next steps? So the first step is we always suggest applying first. And the reason is because that application is free and it's good for an entire year. So even if you're not planning on starting from a full year from today, that application is still good. On top of that, during COVID, we're allowing students to be admitted with unofficial transcripts. So you can email our admissions people a screenshot or a legible picture of your transcripts and be admitted within 48 hours of filling out the application. So it saves a step. Instead of emailing me or one of the other advisors your unofficial transcripts, and then getting an evaluation and then later applying and then resending in those transcripts again, you can just skip that step and go to apply and send in transcripts. And then you'll book an appointment after you're admitted with one of us, either a phone, virtual, or face-to-face. So applying is easy. UM-Flint.edu/apply, click the transfer student button and then first-time user creation. And like I said before, it is absolutely free. Then you will send in transcripts from all colleges attended. So keep that in mind. We do need a copy from every college. As I mentioned before, during this time, you can be admitted and start into classes with unofficial transcripts, but you would need to send in official transcripts at a later date. So like I said, as long as we can read it, needs to be legible, a picture of your transcript or a screenshot, you can email it to that address down below, that email address, and then send in your official copies at a later date. But you can go ahead and get admitted and start into classes with unofficial transcripts. Once you're admitted, then you're going to book an appointment with one of us. Again, we offer phone, virtual, and face-to-face appointments. We have face-to-face appointments in Flint, Port Huron, and at Lansing. But we offer phone and virtual appointments Monday through Friday. And those hours are traditional, like 9 to 5-ish. But on Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, we have extended hours. We have 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. for those students that need those additional early hours or late evenings because of work and school. So tuition and scholarships. So our tuition is $4.97 per credit hour. So that's per credit hour. And then on top of that, we have a lot of scholarship opportunities. I highly recommend visiting these different scholarship websites, especially that very bottom one, the Blue for You. That's got the majority of our scholarships all listed there. The majority of my students qualify if they're willing to go full-time for the transfer scholarship. So that's one that almost all my students qualify for. So you want to look into that and see if you're willing, talk to your advisor and look at your work and life schedule to see if you want to go full-time for that scholarship. We also have the Blue Guarantee Scholarship, also on that Blue for You website. That Blue Guarantee Scholarship is a full ride tuition free scholarship for students based on their FAFSA. So you have to have your FAFSA filled out for that specific year you're applying for. But it's for students that start in a fall or winter term, and they meet the GPA and the financial requirements. And then if you met those requirements, then the tuition is completely covered. So look at those two different scholarship opportunities. There's a lot of other ones in there. Some are based on GPA, locations, essays, different things. So read through those, see which ones you qualify for, and make sure you fill out your FAFSA and that scholarship opportunities. We also have this Friends and Family Scholarship for students that are working in a location or are at a community college, and they know a lot of students are going to come from that specific location, whether it's work or school or home life. And so if you have 5 people that you know are going to start in the same semester, doesn't matter which semester it is, fall, winter, spring, or summer, as long as you start in that same semester and you all 5 fill out this scholarship application together, then you will each receive $500 each. So this is our Friends and Family Scholarship. So talk to your friends at your community college or at your place of employment, see if you're all getting ready to start in the same term. And if you are, make sure you fill out this form. And so these are your different advisors you can work with. Again, I am Brooke. We have Stephanie, Jennifer, and Tiffany. You can work with any of us at any time. You're not assigned just one specific advisor. So if you meet with me one time and then the next time you don't see an availability for a time slot for me and you need to meet a specific time, you can always meet with Stephanie, Jennifer, Tiffany, whoever's available to you. We all work with all of our students to help you succeed here at the university. So that's the end of our presentation. We thank you so much for joining us today, and please let us know if you have any additional questions or concerns. Have a great day.